Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Kenton Wakes Up. I'm Dr. Kenton. In today's cup, it's Mayorga Cubano Roast with Coffeemate. I made it in a drip coffee pot today. I bought a 5 cup coffee maker a while back, and in light of being told by the barista what a starting ratio is for coffee, I made coffee. He told me about perks. I'm trying it in the drip. Woo-wee. Tasty. All right. So today's Monday, March 3rd, 2025. What did I say about Mondays? They're for meetings and for breaking things that got broken over the weekend. Today is no exception. Um, yeah. Mondays they're not for fun. Over the weekend, I believe it was Saturday, I received between this episode and the one immediately prior to it, I received a summons for jury duty. Last time I went for jury duty, I went one day and sat in a waiting room for from like 9 until 1. They have this infomercial or whatever running. I don't know. I think you're probably not allowed to have reading material. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The end of this month, the end of March, is when my period begins, my period of service. Dropped something important on the floor, didn't want to lose it. Um, so it goes from March 31st until whatever the first Friday is, probably the 3rd or something like that. 4th. Yeah, 4th. April 4th. So that's pretty fantastic. We'll see how that goes. Um, so I signed up for that. There's a little questionnaire you got to fill out. What else? I'm showered and shaved and everything. I'm ready to go. I walked in my room here to pick up some stuff and pack up my bag, and I realized I haven't recorded my thing yet. So I'm doing that now, as you can tell, because you can see it in the future because I did it now. March 3rd, Monday. Um, yeah. So I have a department meeting this afternoon. I have a meeting with the doctoral program director. Um, Stuff that I probably need to do before that meeting, and there comes a point where you're at what I would call the ebb, the bottom, or nadir if you're into Greek. I think it's gonna bother me if I got that wrong. Hold on. Define nadir. Nadir. I need to. Okay, I know what nadir means. Now tell me where the word came from. There we go. Merriam-Webster. Did you know nadir has Arabic roots? Nadir is part of the galaxy of scientific words that have come to us from Arabic. The nadir is opposite, that is, of the zenith, I'm not talking about the television company, though most people watching this won't remember Zenith's. The guy who was the scoutmaster for the troop where I earned my Eagle Award was a Zenith television repairman, and he was excited about Zenith, maybe mostly because at the time it was an American company. All the components were made in America and so forth. I don't. Now that I'm thinking of it, let's see if Zenith still operates as a company. Oh, they're using the past tense in Wikipedia. Zenith Electronics. Yeah, they're called Zenith Electronics now. Founded Chicago, Illinois. It doesn't say. Parent company is LG Electronics, and I believe LG is a German company. Let's just make sure. Oops, sorry. Oh boy, LG. LG is not a German company. It is a South Korean company. I regret the error. So, nadir is as low as you can go, and zenith is as high as you can go. In astronomical circles, they talk about the zenith as being the point directly if you had a line that was perpendicular, perfectly perpendicular to the ground you're on, and pointing in the only direction that perpendicularity can go, which is straight up from the flat surface. Um, that's the zenith. So the nadir in that circumstance is right where you're standing. Isn't that weird? I guess if they wanted to, they would say, no, 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 no. It's not where you're standing. That's not the nadir. The nadir is if you drilled a hole straight down through the center of the earth and came out the other side, and then looked at the zenith from that perspective. Then that's the nadir. But you can't see the nadir because there's this thing between you and it, which is I can't see the nadir from Maryland because there's this whole giant planet between me and the point where I would need to stand to see the nadir from Maryland. Nadir of Maryland is, I don't know, in the ocean somewhere. That's just a guess. And I'm not going to look it up. Okay, so the I wouldn't say Monday is the nadir of the week. I would say probably Sunday afternoon is the nadir of the week because there's a lot of worrying about stuff that hasn't happened yet. Isn't that weird? Okay. Verdict. Mayorga Cubano Roast with Coffeemate is delicious through the drip, but better in the percolator. I said it out loud. Percolator coffee tastes better than plain drip. Who knows why? So basically, what you're doing is you keep throwing the boiling hot water from the pot through the grounds over and over and over, and eventually, by the time you're almost done, you're throwing almost 100% brewed coffee through. So I guess what's happening is you're absolutely making sure that you've gotten all of the available coffee compounds. Whereas with the drip, you're sort of, it's like with brewing beer from whole grains. You're the first run through has got a wonderful bounty of flavors and taste compounds and so on and so on. It's wonderful. And we talk about that in terms of in the ancient days, your first run would be pretty strong, high gravity stuff. And then you'd have a second run, which would be a more standard beer, like what you'd buy these days. Probably in the old days, the level of carbonation was extremely low, maybe non-existent, because they didn't have vessels that could hold the pressure. Um, and then sometimes you might get a third beer. I think if you started off with an overabundance of grains, like if you're intending to make a barley wine out of the first one, you could probably get 2 or 3 batches out of there. Um, but otherwise, with the drip, you're sort of making sure that you got everything out of the coffee. But what that means is that some of the flavor compounds that would have been, you know, processed again by going through the grounds a second time, like some of the, what do they call it? Tannins. The bitterness that gets you in the back of the throat, like right back here. Um, some of that's gone. I think it's the boiling, the warmness, the very hotness, and the going through the grounds a couple of times, couple 3 times, gets that lets that bitterness evolve off. Whereas with the drip, it's just, the first drop through gets 100% coffee essence, and if you were to pull off just that part, but the rest of the coffee is where you get the volume from, and it's not as tasty, but when it's added into the batch of extra tasty. So just to sum up this conversation, if you're a person who owns a drip coffee pot and you come in and you take the first cup that comes off the brewer for yourself and leave the rest for whoever else is going to drink it, you are an asshole. I said it out loud. Sorry. I'm going to have to put an NSFW, whatever. NSFW, not safe for work, on this one because I swore. But anyway, enjoy your Monday if you can. Otherwise, remember, love you, bye.